So she's skipping along quite happily there, that's fine. And obviously she's got plenty of, got her head up, she's got plenty of energy. Now while we're down in town, so we've come the shortest way and we've taken it very steady. And she's going on just lovely, that's good. And she's happy doing it, you know, that's her first roundabout. No, she's not sure what to do here, look. Oh, she's got cars overtaking her there on the bend, yeah, doing nicely. You can hear if you know, I've sat behind so many horses, obviously, you know, I mean, last week I done 300 and odd mile behind horses, you know, when I added up, you know, where we'd been and what horses I'd driven, it was over, just under or just over 300 mile we'd travelled. So obviously when you sit here, you get, if you're interested in what you do, obviously you get a fair insight into horses. And I can hear this little girl pitching on her toe, but when she's re-shod, we'll have a look at her shoe and you can see it's not a case of not picking her feet up. As she comes down, she pitches onto her toe. If you see her little foot, you can see the whole sole of her and her shoe, the whole sole of the foot and the shoe there on her front, and she therefore is coming down on it, you know, she's pitching onto it a little bit. So I think if we just alter her shoes a little bit would just help. I don't want to jar her up. A nice truck coming up here and bring her right over. Oh, it's got all its lights flashing, coming right close. Another one, this is one of these eight-wheeler type things. I think, oh no, this is a grain truck. I'll be going up to the big farm up here to pick up or unload. So she's all right with all that type of stuff. Just getting her to come over to the side here a little bit to encourage anything to come past that wants to. We don't wave anything on, obviously, because, you know, they've got to make their own mind up. But we certainly don't get any people, you know, complaining or tooting or anything like that. Very, very rarely do we get anything like that. It's very rare, seriously very rare. I mean, you're always going to get it somewhere. Whether you was driving horse or in a motor car, you get it from somebody else, but we don't get that because we are conscious all the time of other traffic around us, and as anyone should be. We're sharing the road, you know, the public highway with all sorts of stuff, and you've got to be aware of them and treat them with respect if you want to be treated with respect yourself. So they do have a sign that some people put on their back of their vehicle that says pass wide and slow. Personally, myself, I think that's not the best advice for drivers behind, because it can create a big queue of cars, and in that queue you'll always get someone that will take a chance at the wrong point because they've been held up. The other thing with pass wide and slow, in my opinion, and I know different societies would disagree with me, but they'll probably disagree with me on quite a few things. But the other reason I don't like it is if you're up a country lane, or you know, and you ask a vehicle to pass wide and slow, you've got so many small vans now, small box vans going around like Tesco, Sainsbury's, all sorts of them, taking food or people shopping, you know, to their house. When you ask them to pass wide and slow, they cross the road as tight as they can and brush the hedge the other side, and horses that are not used to that will startle and run. And you know, that's what you've asked the man to do, so that's what he's done, and it will create a problem. And I see that so much. I mean, I'm not talking about that is a big percentage of horses being startled and upset. It's where they're not trained right in the first place, that they've heard that noise and can cope with it, you know. So that's the problem there. But so that's why we don't have that. What we have is, you know, the orange lights, you know, brake lights, indicators, so we're more recognisable to you know, to another motor car. You know, they can relate to an indicator, brake light, side lights, etc. So we have those, and obviously we have our extending flashing light that goes up. If you know, if we feel we need it, we put it up so we're visible from a long way off. So that to me is better than high vis, etc. The carriages we have are, you know, all the new carriages that are, you know, we're just having made now have these colours which are yellow and green, but they do stand out. There's no two ways about that. So you know, just walk away up here now. Come on, baby. Good girl. You see, this is big old stuff. We've got a bridge here. That you know, some of them don't like going under. There's quite a few, quite a high percentage don't like going under the bridge. But they're absolutely, you know, some of them can be quite frightened or quite unnerved by someone walking over the bridge. And obviously if they see a horse, they wave and say hello and that as they're going over. But no, someone's just walked over that bridge now. So, but it's like everything else. Obviously we don't just put them in harness and bring them downtown, do we? A lot of training done at home, getting them prepared to come down here. And people say to me, what do you do? Well, as I'll keep saying, which sounds, you know, terrible, at the risk of repeating myself, it's the same old thing. It's every horse is an individual. So some horses will be downtown within, you know, just over the week, and some will be after 4 weeks. So there's no hard and fast rules. There's just, you know, what I see is the correct thing to do with that particular horse or pony. So this pony's working beautifully well with all of this. And we don't want to hold anybody up, but at the same time, people say, well, I will never take my horse on that sort of road. I would never do that. But my point there is this one here, big old noisy truck going up, great big Arctic, and you see all the horses. Well, if I can do it with all the horses I drive in a soft rubber bit, you know, not a curb chain and a Liverpool, but in a soft rubber bit with all types, all different breeds, all different types of horses, you know, it proves the point that if they're trained properly, they will cope with anything. I do, in some cases, we have experience days where people come and further their education in driving, or get an introduction to driving. We do that, but it's not something, how can I say, if I had more time it would be lovely, I'd do a lot more. We certainly have lots of people that want to come, and I mean a great deal. There's a fella that comes over 2 or 3 times, oh no, I would say he comes over 6 times a year from Florida. You know, out in the USA, he comes over. We just had over from Canada, we got people coming from Germany, later in here, from Holland, people coming, Italy, as well as Ireland and all over, you know. So that was one of them stumbles. That is exactly what I'm saying to you. That is one of them where it's just pitched down on its toe, and what it will be is a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little tiny crack in the road or something like that. You know, it's not a hole he's gone down or anything like that, but the way he lands his toe, sorry, the way she lands her toe sometimes, that's that jar. That's what I don't want. So that's why we're going to alter these shoes. Now next time it should, we take that away, because obviously that's not, it wouldn't be comfortable, you know, and we don't want to do anything like that. The main thing is when we, you know, train horses, that they enjoy it. They go up the road and they love what they're doing, and they find it, you know, enjoyable, so they're safe, confident and happy. I mean, this pony's going up here and there's no regard, you know, for this traffic, and anyway, it's conscious that it's there. It knows there's a lot of traffic around, but it's coping with it beautifully well. But it's only how we prepare them to come downtown. People think that I just put them in and come downtown. Well, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? You've got to, and each one's an individual. So when people say to me, as I said before, you know, how do you know when it's time? Well, that's experience. That one there, you see all the dust and that great big 8-wheeler, that's going up that little road we've just been on to the tip. You know, that's what will happen. So, you know, this is going lovely. Couldn't be any better. We haven't had anybody swearing, shouting, tooting, doing anything at all. You know, and you know, the traffic's going by and everybody's happy and like that. You know, you've got to respect the other traffic. We don't have the right to make everybody, you know, we should blend in with the traffic. And if people say to me, so much nonsense, the great rattling trailer just gone down there, it's gone along the side of the road picking up all the dust, the horse not concerned at all, just walking away and doing its job and liking what it's doing. So we're over here as tight as we can be, as you can see. Come on, baby. Just walking along there so the traffic can overtake us. And people say, well, as I was saying before, I didn't finish what I was saying, you know, I would never go on a road like that. It's, you know, it's only because they can't do it, they say that. The point is that if the horse is trained properly, it's not a problem. Also, if you're out on even a country lane, yeah, which has happened to me 3 or 4 times. I mean, obviously I spend a lot of time, no, maybe 5 or 6 times actually. I spend a lot of time on the road, but there's been an accident and there's been a diversion put in. Well, what are you going to do? You can't take the horse out of harness. You may have to go up the main road, even for a short distance. And these horses, any horse, I prove it time and time again with the amount of horses I break and train, whatever you want to call it, to harness, they all cope with this. You see them all doing it. Well, you know, why wouldn't they be happy? As long as you do it right. And that's why a lot of people break their own horses. Lovely. And it's a lovely thing to do, but you don't hear about all the poor little buggers that are broke and buggered up by people. You never hear about them. You hear about the success stories, but you never hear about the other ones. I'll put it in and it ran off with a tyre. I put it in, it was pulling a pallet and it walked back on it and went crackers. I put it in the shafts, and as soon as we put it in the shafts, it was all right for a couple of days, then it ran away. Well, it's not been broke properly, has it? So that's that is not tooting at us. There's someone I know who's just waved at me like that. So so as you can see here, that we've come all the way up the road, no problem at all. And what we're going to do now, before we go round this roundabout, we're just going to pull off here by this sign onto this, not really a lay-by, but it's just by a bus stop. We're going to pull off here and just let this horse just stand for a minute or two. There's a lovely one there, very rattling. So now what we're going to do is let the, can you see all the slobber in the horse's mouth there? Look, just dribbling down out of his mouth. Just a soft rubber bit in. And the reason we're stopped here now is because at this particular point, lorries will be braking because of the roundabout in front, and the road surface here changes, so you get different road noises. And the other thing is, it's a bit bumpy, this bit of road, you know, it was waiting to be repaired really, so you get a lot of noise from the, you know, the lorry actually shaking and bumping. So we're just standing here now, and there you are. See what I mean? I mean, this little camera doesn't pick it up as well as others would, but you can see there. But you know, there's all these different societies and clubs and that drive, and they say oh, you must have a firm contact at all times, you've got to use a Liverpool bit. Well, please tell me how I drive 600-700 films on YouTube, maybe more, 1,000 maybe, and they're all driven in soft rubber. I'm just driving some now in Liverpools, you know, metal bits, but they've been trained and done in rubber, but the fella wants to put them in Liverpools, so that's what we've done. But they, you know, they're perfect in rubber. The film's there to prove it. You know, they've been up and in the middle of town in soft rubber bits on market day, so you can see all this traffic coming round and the noise, all the different things to look at. But there's no reaction from the horse at all, just stand there like that quite happily, and it's not got its head on the ground. Also, the other thing I'd like you to pay attention to is the fact that the horse is not in any way putting its head down to eat the grass, and it's on a slack rein, because it knows now's not the time to do that. Now, that's part of what we do. So if this pony went down to eat now, we would just say to him, no, that'll do, pick your head up, whatever, change the tone of your voice, so it knows that that's what's required. Yeah. So I'm really, there's a big 8-wheeler. See, that's the ones like that. And they go up that other little road, you know, it's quite shocking really when you see them go up there. You know, they take up a lot of their, or certainly their half of the road they take up. And when they come back, they go up laden and they come back empty, and they rattle like mad. The noise is deafening as they go past you, especially over, you know, a bit of uneven road. They bounce and make a terrible noise. So there we go.